How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Battlefield 2042 video. So I'm back from my break. I was taking a little bit of a break for Christmas and for the holidays and stuff, and you know, to be honest, there hasn't been very much stuff to make videos on in general, with Battlefield at least. And until there's a new video game, it's probably going to be a little hit and miss with videos here going forward. When there's a new game, I'll be sure to cover it, or if there's ever any new updates for Battlefield, I'll still be covering Battlefield. But if you guys want to see more of me, I have been streaming more on Twitch lately at SwanyPlaysGames Live, so that's where I've been if you guys have been wondering where I'm at. But when it comes to DICE games, it's kind of the same thing every year with DICE games. They pump out a game by like November so that they can get those holiday sales, they can get those Black Friday deals and stuff, and then they all go on vacation for like the month of December through January, and then we basically have like a month to 2 months of like no updates or anything, and the game is sort of left in whatever state they left it in before they went on vacation. And in this case, Battlefield 2042 was left in a not very good state. But now we're in the new year, it is January 6th, and some of you guys are probably wondering, you know, where's DICE at? Why haven't they had any communication? Where's our roadmap at? You know, are people getting back into the office? Which kind of leads us into the first topic of today's video is, you know, where's DICE at? Are they working on the next patch? What are they doing? And Danny on PC asked this on Twitter. He asked this to one of the DICE developers. He said, is DICE back in the virtual office yet, or are y'all still on vacation? And then Darko, I don't even know how to pronounce his last name. He is a DICE developer. He says, as an individual, I am off this whole week, and most of my colleagues too. Now, this is the lead user interface software engineer at DICE, so this is probably the guy behind a lot of the UI choices that you see in 2042. And as you can tell by his tweet, he's still off this entire week, and like he said, a lot of his colleagues are off too. So if you were expecting a early January update for 2042, I would lower your expectations, because realistically, if we get an update at all in January, it won't be till towards the end of the month, because a lot of these DICE developers are just getting back in the office. A lot of them probably won't even be getting back until next week, and then once they get back, it'll probably take, you know, a week or two for them to pump out an update. So that is the current state of like where the developers are at. Some of them are starting to come back into the studio, and then more of them are going to be coming back next week. So the next bit of news that I want to go over is a bit disappointing and kind of expected, but this image was popping up all over Reddit the past couple days. As you can see here, somebody found a brand new copy of 2042 at GameStop for $5, and this is just blowing up everywhere on Reddit. People trashing on the game. People were celebrating the fact that this game isn't doing well because, you know, people aren't happy with 2042, and that's pretty obvious. I mean, the fact that Battlefield 5 has more players on Steam now, and it has been that way since Christmas, that alone should tell you that people aren't happy with 2042 if Battlefield 5 has more players. But a brand new copy for $5. Now, obviously, this is going to vary depending on, you know, where your local GameStop's at. I called my GameStop, and they were doing some sort of deal where their Battlefield 2042 was like 20 bucks. This person's GameStop is $5, so it probably varies. Regardless if it's 20 bucks or 5 bucks or 30 bucks, either way, the game came out in November and it's being heavily discounted and people aren't playing it. So it's not in a very good state. If you can see a brand new Battlefield title going for $5 off the shelf, you know something's wrong. And I feel like a clown for buying this game at full price. I spent over $100 for the good version of the game because, you know, I was excited for Battlefield. It's one of my favorite franchises. I wanted to show my support because this is one of my most loved franchises. And, you know, now 2 months later, you can get it for $5. I mean, I feel like an idiot. So the next bit of news that I want to go over on the channel has to do with the developers tweeting and there being a lot of community backlash. And I mean, a lot of community backlash. Reddit was just going nuts. Twitter was enraged. Like, people were not happy with these developer tweets. So I'm going to ease you into the developer tweets, starting with like the most calm. So first off, we have Total FPS. We have Kevin Johnson, which is one of the community managers at DICE. He said, let's have a chat about the weekly missions in Battlefield 2042. What are your expectations from these missions, but also the rewards? What have you liked/disliked so far? The goals may be simple and they aim to encourage team play gameplay activities? What goals would you like to see? And then in response, Lossy responded, and if you guys don't know Lossy, he's another Battlefield creator. He said, cosmetics that alter the weapon or vehicles please, not just a skin, color change, more in-depth stuff that alters the shape and complete look of something. Custom woodland or battered from Battlefield 5 as examples. Now, I agree with this completely. This is a good response. I think outfits or cosmetics or anything that completely alter the way that a vehicle looks or completely alter the way that a weapon looks, I am all for that. That sounds great. And then Kevin responded by saying singular cosmetics for a single weapon or universal camo. And then he said a model that drastically alters 22 all-out warfare weapons sounds a bit of a mind-blowing task. And then what he said next was completely tone deaf, and he said, and then brings the discussion of how often you would expect those on a free basis. And of course, him saying this definitely got some backlash in the community. People were not happy with this, and for good reason. I mean, a lot of people like myself spent like over $100 on this game. This is not a free-to-play title. This is a full-price game. We should be getting cosmetics and DLC and stuff like included in the live service, in air quotes. That stuff should be included for free. It should not cost extra money. And the fact that the community's asking for some cool cosmetics, and then he's asking like how often would we expect these to be for free? Every single one of them should be for free. I'm tired of this bullshit with video games where you spend full price and then they expect you to spend money on cosmetics on top of the full price game. It's one thing if it's a free to play game and they charge you like, you know, 10 to 15 bucks to 20 bucks for cosmetic bundles, but 60 to 100 plus dollars for a full price game, and then they also expect you to buy cosmetics, especially with the state of this game and how unhappy people are with 2042 and people are leaving left and right. They need to be basically begging players to come back at this point. They need to just give everything out for free. Give out free weapons, give out free vehicles, give out free maps, give out free skins. EA and DICE need to be a long way from even considering paid cosmetics to 2042, or it's just going to get torn apart from the community. But I guess at the very least, they're asking the community for feedback. So if you guys have any ideas on cool cosmetic ideas for weekly rewards, like, you know, weapon charms or skins or outfits or whatever, then I guess go let him know on Twitter, because, you know, obviously they want to know from the community. When it comes to my opinion, the weekly rewards don't even really seem worth it, because it's so hard for me to find matches anymore. It feels like a burden for me to go out of my way to do these weekly challenges and stuff. It felt cool the first week or two, but after the first week or two, once they started adding like weapon charms and stuff, I don't care. Like, I don't want to do a weekly reward for a weapon charm. If they start doing stupid things like banners or player ID stuff or badges, then that's when I'm going to completely stop caring about the weekly challenges. Weekly challenges should be strictly cosmetic for weapons and vehicles and stuff only. Nobody wants to grind out a weekly challenge and get a badge for their player card, so I hope they stay away from that kind of stuff. I personally don't even like weapon charms. I'm so tired of like every first-person shooter adding weapon charms in general. It just kind of feels like a cheap way to add fluff and add extra content when there isn't. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think down below. And then getting into the big drama that happened yesterday, Reddit went absolutely nuts over these tweets. It was definitely not very pretty. So on Twitter, we have Andy here. He's the Global Director of Integrated Comms for Shooters and Star Wars at Electronic Arts. So, you know, he works with EA, he works with shooters, he works with Battlefield. And he had this tweet yesterday. He says, back to work today, check Reddit and Twitter, and Battlefield fans are pissed we didn't do enough updates or communication during the holiday break. Guys, people gotta rest. We have things in motion, but we have to figure out what is possible. We will address it when we are 100%. And then he added, let us get back from break and get back to work. Love you guys, but these expectations are brutal. The things you want take time to scope, design, and execute. And after he posted these tweets, the backlash was so intense, he has since deleted these tweets and he has apologized on Twitter. He said, deleted the tweets, seems my message wasn't clear, apologies. So of course people definitely were not happy with this. If you guys want to see some of the backlash, I would check it out on Reddit. There were some really good responses I saw on Twitter, but I didn't get to screenshot them in time because he deleted the tweets. But basically, people were just saying like, hey, why are these expectations so brutal? We literally just want a scoreboard scoreboard. We want the maps to have cover. We want to experience squad play. We want in-game voice chat. Basic essential things that was in every previous Battlefield game is just what the community wants. And everyone was confused, like, hey, what is so brutal about these expectations? And people were saying, like, why are the developers trying to make it seem like the community's the bad guys here? EA and DICE took a lot of the well-loved features that was in Battlefield, they completely stripped them from the game, and now that people are upset that all these features are missing, the developers act like, oh, our expectations are too high, and our expectations are too brutal. Like, we want the simplest of things. We want the maps to not be gigantic open fields. We want more than 22 weapons in our base game. I don't understand why that's such a brutal expectation. They've had years to make this Battlefield game. Why is it that every other Battlefield game can launch with way more than 22 weapons, but when it comes to 2042, we have almost no destruction, which was in previous Battlefields. We only have 22 weapons, which is nothing compared to previous Battlefields. We don't have a scoreboard, which was in previous Battlefields. Like, I could name off a list of hundreds of things that was stripped from 2042, but yet, you know, these are brutal expectations. Sorry that the community expected a Battlefield game. So it's definitely not looking good. It's looking like the developers are so unbelievably tone deaf when it comes to this game in the community. I don't see this game getting fixed. I honestly feel like they're going to make some changes here and there, but this game is definitely not going to be the Battlefield that we all hoped that it would be. And on this channel, I covered Battlefront 2 from the beta clear through the game's death, and I am well familiar with how DICE operates. DICE takes forever to do anything and to add content, and their communication is some of the worst in the industry. So with the developers being this tone deaf and us having such brutal expectations, I don't see this game ever getting fixed. And, you know, maybe some players will come back. Who knows? I hope that this game gets fixed. I hope that they listen to community feedback. But, you know, based off of what we've been seeing from these developer tweets, you know, them talking about adding cosmetics for money, how could we possibly expect to get free cosmetics? And, you know, us having our expectations too high. You know, it's just not looking good, guys. So, honestly, I would just put whatever hope into the next Battlefield game. Maybe they learn from their mistakes in like 4 to 5 years when we get a new title. Maybe we'll get a lot of these features that everybody has been asking for. A lot of these basic things will come back. Maybe the next Battlefield will have more destruction and stuff. But yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So that basically does it for this video, guys. I will keep you guys updated on 2042, but I'm not going to try to force videos out with this game. I've already seen a ton of creators on YouTube stop covering 2042 because this game's such a disaster, and, you know, nobody watches it on Twitch anymore. And, you know, it just doesn't make sense from a YouTube creator standpoint to make videos on a game that nobody wants to play. So I still hope that this game can turn it around and be better, both as like a player standpoint and from like a content creator standpoint. But, you know, going forward, if they keep this up and they don't listen to the feedback from the community, then I'm going to stop making videos for 2042, and, you know, I'll have to move on to the next game like I've done on this channel, you know, time and time again. I just don't have the patience anymore for these developers and these game studios to just, you know, release a broken game and then drag the community along. It's really stressful for me as like a YouTuber when I'm dedicated to like one game and then the company doesn't even care about their own game, and then every month I'm sort of in this rut of like, what am I going to do for a video this week, or what's going to happen with the next update, and then the next update's disappointing, and then I'm like, well, what about the next update? And I just don't want to do that with 2042. I did it with Battlefront 2, and I don't have the patience to put up with DICE's crap anymore. And like I said earlier, if you guys want to follow me on Twitch, I stream there a variety of different games at SwanyPlaysGames Live. And that is going to do it for me, everyone, and I will talk to you all in the next video.